Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome everyone into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology turned podcast. Everyone, welcome into the program. I hope that you're doing well and you are ready for today's program because we have the one, the only Mr. Ralph Bond, who'll be joining us here. He is our science and tech trends correspondent, and my word, he has outdone himself today. These are 4 amazing stories that you are definitely going to want to hear about. Something called Superwood, and no, that's not another Extends ad. Don't worry about it. We're going to talk about turning waste to power. We're going to be talking about new way, well, I guess it's an alternative cancer treatment, to put it, simply, that makes it more effective and safer. Ladies and gentlemen, these stories are really amazing and you're going to want to find out more. So the best place to do that is computeramerica.com. That's the place you'll go to find the show notes, which by the time that you hear this, the show notes will be posted and you will be able to follow along during the program. If you're not able to watch the video for whatever reason, then you can find links, sources, places to back up the claims that we're making because they seem fantastic, but I promise, hey, they're all real. At least as far as I know. Now, with that being said, we haven't headed into the AI dystopian future where they're just making up stories just to make us feel better. That's certainly not the case. So, with that being said, let's go ahead, bring Ralph on, and just have fun with it. Again, computeramerica.com for all things the program. So, Ralph, welcome back onto the program. How you been?
It's great. It's great to be back as always. And friends, if you're brand new to the show, let's set the stage. What Ben and I do each Friday is highlight 4 recent articles that show us key trends and developments in all kinds of stuff: artificial intelligence, robotics, medical technology, sustainable energy technology, transportation advances, agricultural tech, space research, physics, and I should add construction technology. You name it. Most important of all, and here's the key: we're going to give you an oasis of positive news thanks to the world of science and technology.
Absolutely. And, I think we're going to go ahead and start with number 1. And it kind of feeds into a trend that we've talked about here on the program. I mean, just last week, we talked about using mycelium mushrooms and, kind of rolling that into a new material to, maybe even construct things and essentially replace concrete. And it really goes to show that even as something as simple as, putting a house together or putting, kind of how you build structures, which is something we've really been refining for the last 100,000 years or something like that. Yes. We're still working on ways to make it better and better and better. And I think, star number 1, the visuals as well that kind of go along with it. I'm sure they're just concepts and whatnot, but it's very, very cool to see what could possibly, be possible. So star number 1.
Yeah. And a little more setup for story number 1. This is in the world of construction technology. And if you think construction's a boring nuts and bolts, hammers and nails, no, not anymore. There's amazing things called building information modeling. There's all kinds of materials science going into construction now. And this is a good example of that and a good example of a trend to watch. This comes from Robotics and Automation News. The headline: Superwood, a potentially revolutionary material that could replace steel. Wow. Okay, so let's find out what this is all about. Superwood is an innovative engineered wood developed by an outfit called Invent Wood. That's run together as one word. A startup spun off from the University of Maryland. This material is designed to be stronger than steel while remaining significantly lighter. That's a very appealing proposition in the world of construction, right? Mm. So here, let's give you some key highlights of this Superwood. So Superwood is up to 12 times stronger and 10 times tougher than regular wood, with a strength to weight ratio nearly 10 times that of steel. Wow. Huh. Now, during the manufacturing process, it undergoes a molecular level transformation involving chemical treatment to modify lignin. Stand by, we'll explain what that is, and compression to enhance hydrogen bonding between cellulose fibers. So this is pretty geeky.
Mhm.
Side note, just if you're going lignin, what the heck is that? We've talked about this before. Lignin is a complex organic polymer found in the cell walls of plants, particularly in wood and bark. It plays a crucial role in providing structural support, rigidity, and resistance to decay. Lignin is second only to cellulose as the most abundant organic material on Earth. So again, the whole formula here is to modify lignin and compression to enhance hydrogen bonding between the cellulose fibers and wood to create this superwood.
No, and some of the numbers that they threw out there, 12 times stronger, 10 times tougher, and we've seen that wood is still used in most construction here in the United States.
Yeah.
Like if wood's good enough for buildings, 10 to 12 times stronger and tougher, that's incredible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. It's quite remarkable. And going on with some of its other amazing properties, this material, this superwood, is fire resistant. It has a Class A rating, water repellent, rot proof, and pest resistant, making it highly durable and I'd say highly attractive. Superwood offers an eco-friendly alternative to steel and concrete, helping reduce carbon emissions in construction. And that's another thing that's kind of fun. Ben, you and I know this because we've covered this in many other stories. The carbon emission process just of concrete and cement alone is horrifying. Going on here, Inventwood, again, that's the name of the company, plans to begin commercial shipments from its first manufacturing facility in Frederick, Maryland in Q3 of this year, 2025. So this is happening. So most of our stories are kind of futuristic. It's early research. It's going to be maybe 5-10 years out. No, this one happens to be very near term. And I like this part too. From the company's website, today, after 7 years of intensive development work, substantial investment, and get ready for this, Ben, and over 140 patents. What? Superwood is ready to reshape how we build our world. And to wrap things up on this one, this breakthrough material could revolutionize construction and manufacturing, providing a sustainable, high-performance alternative to traditional building materials. And when you talk about sustainable, the first thought I had was, could we figure out a way to take bamboo and make a wood material using this process that would have all these characteristics? Because when you talk about renewable, bamboo, of course, being basically a high activity or very fast growing form of grass, believe it or not, it's weird, could be an amazing combination. But anyway, what an stunning advancement.
No, and I'm sure bamboo has, the lignins that you were talking about, in it, and bamboo is well known for growing, 10, 12 inches a day.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Incredibly fast growing. And, just kind of poking through the article, I know that you give, kind of the, just the broad strokes to it. The article has a lot of different, the highlights has a lot of different applications that this could be used for. And, just to kind of tease that they should go look for more, but they were talking things like cars, for like floor panels and stuff like that, to go lightweight, aerospace, a lot of different spaces that right now, Ralph, that you just kind of use steel because you're like, well, it's available, it's tough, it's durable. Anywhere that you can think, well, might as well use metal, maybe Superwood is a replacement of that. Now, of course, they're probably going to have to come up with a better name than Superwood, but, beyond that, it seems like a good replacement for so many different applications. So, and like you said, wood just kind of has a natural charm to it. It feels like, Ralph, especially in the technology world that we focus on, electronics and metal, and when you think about where we've been kind of going, it's very sterile, away from nature. But wood has a natural charm that this, of course, can borrow from. So so there you go. Story number 1, very cool. Story number 2, we're gonna go ahead and jump on over and talk about, a trend turning waste into usable products. And usually that waste is from, maybe the oil and gas industry, maybe it's from metal manufacturing, maybe it's from, chemical byproduct. This one's just straight up pee. This one's just urine, which I think is the epitome of waste. Well, Ralph, let's talk about the new potential green energy revolution.
Yes. And this comes from Sustainability Times. And the headline for me was irresistible. Hydrogen from human waste. Urine-based fuel technology slashes electricity use by 27% in stunning green energy revolution. There's a lot going on in that headline. We're going to break it all down for you. Again, this comes from Sustainability Times. Here we go. And this one comes from Down Under in good old Australia. Researchers from the University of Adelaide have unveiled a groundbreaking electrolysis system that transforms urine into low-cost hydrogen, significantly reducing electricity consumption. I need to stop. When they talk about significantly reducing electricity consumption, it has to do with electrolysis, and we'll get into that. So again, significantly reducing electricity consumption and offering a sustainable alternative to traditional hydrogen production methods. That's the electrolysis I was alluding to. Now, the University of Adelaide team, in collaboration with the ARC Center of Excellence for Carbon Science and Innovation, have developed two breakthrough electrolysis systems. These systems utilize urea found in human urine and wastewater to generate hydrogen more efficiently than traditional methods such as water electrolysis. So it's not that this has never been done before. They've come up with a way to do it so much more efficiently.
Yeah, and hydrogen should be no stranger to listeners by now. Hydrogen is definitely something we want as much of as possible. So more of it is better, and I guess P just does it better. So there you go.
Well, again, to your point, if you can take waste in its many different forms and maturations and find a very cost-effective way to transform it into hydrogen, it just helps advance the viability of hydrogen as a fuel for the future. So there you go. The process that they came up with cuts electricity consumption by 20 to 27% compared to conventional water electrolysis. And so, of course, a significant reduction that could make hydrogen production more feasible and environmentally friendly. We're on this path. Hydrogen, they have so much interest in hydrogen, but it has barriers. It's transportation and use in the field, but its production, high cost. And so if we can get all that figured out, then hydrogen becomes this very, very incredible fuel source for us. And remember that water electrolysis is a process that splits water into hydrogen and oxygen using electricity. That's your traditional process. These guys have come up with something that's much more energy efficient. And then the lead researcher on the project, summarized the environmental benefits of these systems they created. Quote, not only do they significantly reduce electricity use, but they also eliminate the production of toxic byproducts, instead generating harmless nitrogen gas as a byproduct. And should these systems be scaled up, they go on to say, they could pave the way for more sustainable hydrogen production, offering a compelling alternative to environmentally detrimental gray hydrogen derived from fossil fuels. So you can make hydrogen from natural gas, but that's considered a gray or fossil fuel based way to get hydrogen. Again, the authors of this study are talking about an advancement that's really going to make producing green hydrogen even more exciting and more viable.
Right. It not that it defeats the whole purpose, because generating hydrogen is in itself probably better than the other alternative forms of energy, but to do it from fossil fuels is not exactly the sustainable method that hydrogen is going for. So yeah, this is and like you said, just turning waste to productive sources of fuel and stuff. I mean, hey, that's there's a lot to love there. So. And hey, let's face it, we weren't going to do anything with the pee anyways. It was just going to go somewhere else. So what a good use. There you go.
Well, yeah. And Ben, to your point, imagine every single municipal sewage treatment plant having built into it a facility that will then take this process and create hydrogen. Wow.
It's something that you have to deal with in some manner, and to turn it into a positive is, of course, something that we should really be striving for. There, Ralph, like honestly, waste is, and I'm not just talking like kind of human waste, but like think about some of the technology. Like some of my favorite technologies are one that like goes into your clothing, and the mechanical energy of you moving. Not that getting from A to B is really a
Yeah.
waste, but
Yeah.
we're essentially wasting energy by walking from A to B. And they have like clothing that will store the energy and put it into a battery that you can then charge a phone or something like that, just by the natural movements of you walking. And little things like that, just making even just humans walking more efficient is kind of the key to the future and what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, key trend. Story number 2. Story number 3. Speaking of moving, getting around, well, this time
Yes.
sitting and standing, we're going to talk about a once again another robot, and a very loose term for the robot. But for anyone out there who's had to assist someone getting up and that kind of thing, like it's always good to be able to reach out, give someone a helping hand. But day in and day out, people really want that independence, and they want to be able to do it themselves. And something like story number 3 can, hey, help people live at home, do things on their own, and you just love to see it. So we'll show the video on screen, Ralph, but let's talk about the article.
Yes. This comes from good old MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, of course. And what a wonder world of developments these people come up with every single day. This is in the area of robotics. The headline here is Eldercare Robot helps people sit and stand and catches them if they fall. Subhead, the new design could assist the elderly as they age in place at home. That's the key point here, the motivation. And one thing I want to say, if you're lucky enough to be looking at the video, or if you've come out to get the show notes, the current iteration of this robot is a beast. I mean, it's a huge machine, but they're going to be on a path to miniaturize this or reduce its bulk and so on and so forth. But I just love the intent. What they're trying to do with this is so admirable. And the video is so good. You must check it out because it contains a wealth of information about the flexibility of the robot and its specific design features, which we won't have time to cover.
I gotta say though, Ralph, that the video opens up with every day in the United States, 11,000 people turn 65. And I'm like, they phrase it in a way that's like, we got to stop this. We got to stop people turning 65 or something. I don't know. It's not something about the way they phrase that, but yeah.
I think it's more that, hey, this is going to be more and more a problem every single day. That the elder care is going to be a big issue for us, and a really big issue in Japan, by the way, too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the challenge of caring for the elderly amid shortages, of care workers, rising healthcare costs, and evolving family structures is an increasingly urgent societal issue. Well, we all think we kind of realize that. To help address the elder care challenge, a team of MIT engineers is looking to robotics. They've built and tested what they call the Elderly Bodily Assistance Robot, or of course it has to become an acronym, EBAR, a mobile robot designed to physically support the elderly and prevent them from falling as they move around their homes. EBAR acts as a set of robotic handlebars that follows a person from behind. And again, please come out and get the show notes or check out the video because it'll bring it all to life when you see it in action. A user can walk independently or lean on the robot's arms for support. The robot can support the person's full weight, lifting them from a sitting to standing and vice versa along a natural trajectory. And the arms of the robot can catch them by rapidly inflating side airbags if they begin to fall. So it has sensors to detect. Isn't that something remarkable? With their design, the researchers hope to prevent falls, which today are the leading cause of injury in adults who are 65 years of age or older. The leading cause of injury. Wow. Just amazing.
By the way, just watching the video out of the corner of my eye here, and I have to say that in the research community, like for those who don't know, Ralph, you know what was like one of the best research tools that modern technology kind of gave universities? It's like the Xbox Kinect and the Xbox controller and what Microsoft's done. You see the student there using the Xbox controller. In terms of, Ralph, just being able to customize and map things to controllers and the sensitivity, honestly, Xbox has done more for research than I think a lot of people give them credit for. It's really incredible what Microsoft has done.
Yeah, well, no, it's a fun aside, and that's a fun little nugget that comes from the video. And again, come out and check out that video, folks. So here, let's give you a little quote from Harry Asada, the Ford professor of engineering at MIT, noted, quote, "Our design concept is to provide older adults having balance impairment with robotic handlebars for stabilizing their body. The handlebars go anywhere and provide support anytime, whenever they're needed." Now, in its current version, the robot is operated via remote control. So this is very early development, folks. In future iterations, the team plans to automate much of the bot's functionality, enabling it to autonomously follow and physically assist a user. Let that sink in. Autonomously follow and physically assist a user. The researchers are also working on streamlining the device to make it slimmer and more maneuverable in small spaces. So again, early research, but what a wonderful thing. In fact, just for a second there on the video, they showed how the device could help someone get on and off the good old commode, the toilet, which is a real issue for elder folks who have mobility limitations. So salute to MIT on this one. Love it.
Yeah, this robot seems very robust, even the prototype that they've kind of built in the lab. And, Ralph, like I'm looking at this, and obviously this is like the first iteration, just kind of proof of concept and, falling from behind.
Right.
My immediate thought was another story that we did probably about a year ago. Do you remember the hiking pants? They're essentially pants with like kind of robots built in that let people go further. And of course, maybe even let people who wouldn't be able to hike normally, be able to go out on hikes.
Yes.
Imagine, Ralph, like not like a straight up exoskeleton, but you had some apparatus that you essentially wear. It's built into clothing. It's built into, let's say, a robe or something like that. It was, much more, I guess, kind of built into what a person was wearing. And it was able to, and I'm not saying that, it's like a one-to-one, but you have something that people can essentially wear, and then their clothing through robotics can help them get up, move, stand, sit, lean, be mobile. I mean, stuff like that could also be possible, and just kind of blend the two.
Agree.
Very, very cool. And of course, the video itself is like 3 minutes long. I highly encourage people to go look at that. It's,
That's
very
great.
cool.
It's really great.
Yeah, definitely check that out. So glad you included that in the show notes for story number 3. Story number 4. Let's go on down and let's talk a bit about that cancer treatment that I kind of teased at the beginning of the show. And this could make a particular type of cancer treatment, not saying this is going to be for all cancer treatment, but hey, if it becomes an option for more people, then this is something to definitely pay attention to. Story number 4, let's talk about a more effective and safer ultrasound-based cancer treatment, which, is not my forte, I will admit. But yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, and in fact, just a reminder that last week we covered another medical technology advancement involving ultrasound and microbubbles. Here we go again. I think we're looking at a medical technology trend because this is another iteration of that essential kind of concept. This comes from News Medical Life Sciences. It's a story about Oregon Health and Science University, and I'm in the Portland, Oregon area, so I'm very proud of this story. Headline: Novel nanoparticle could make ultrasound-based cancer treatments more effective and safer. What's not to like about that? So let's get into this. Researchers at Oregon Health and Science University have created a new kind of nanoparticle that could make ultrasound-based cancer treatments more effective and safer while also helping prevent tumors from coming back. Now, in a study published in the journal Nano Letters, extremely geeky, by the way, explores a way to make high-intensity focused ultrasound less harmful to healthy tissues. The goal of the research effort is to improve a category of focused ultrasound known as mechanical tumor ablation. Now, I've got a side note here about what that is. You can come to the show notes and learn more about that. Going on here, though, with the story, this technique uses energy to destroy solid tumors without surgery. However, using focused ultrasound to treat solid tumors has two major challenges. It usually needs a lot of energy, which can create heat and harm healthy tissue surrounding the cancer. And even if the tumor is broken up, some cancer cells might survive and allow the cancer to come back. And in fact, I have a family member who's been going through this treatment for some time over the last couple of years, and I know very well what they're talking about. So, Ben, here's how this new approach works. Here's the twist. These nanoparticles are engineered with small bubbles on their surface, which help reduce the energy needed for ultrasound treatment by up to 100-fold. Wow.
That's a lot. And I guess just by saying less energy, that means less damage or, kind of accidental damage to other things.
And less heat that could harm surrounding healthy tissue. This is by 100-fold. Friends, I can't believe it. Anyway, when targeted with focused ultrasound, the bubbles pop and release energy that helps destroy tumors more precisely. The particles are coated with a special molecule called a peptide, which helps them stick to tumors and enter cancer cells more easily. Wow. And to make the therapy even more powerful, but there's more. To make the therapy even more powerful, the scientists also attached a potent chemotherapy drug to the peptide on the nanoparticle surface. It's like a 1-2 punch. The ultrasound physically destroys the tumor, and the drug helps eliminate any leftover cancer cells that might cause the tumor to return. So, wow, and a great example of leaving you feeling good about the world and hopeful thanks to science and technology.
Yeah, just turning things way more effective and, I guess kind of bearable because, let's face it, cancer sucks. That's not controversial to say. But, treatments that are less, I guess, not impactful, but like overall draining on the body, it's, going to help so many people. So, not a straight out cure for cancer, but hey, this is going to make, hopefully maybe even this non-chemo version of cancer treatment more accessible to more people. So yeah, you'll love to see it. No, that's a very positive story to end on. But for those who are following along or reading the show notes, you may notice that's not the end of the show notes though. So how do you end on that? Well, the honorable mentions are stories that we just don't have time for. We're trying to keep the show to a more confined kind of time scale. And so the honorable mentions are stories that, Ralph doesn't just struggle to find 4 stories and that's it. That's all the good news you get. No, there's more good news out there. It's just we don't have time for it. So let's at least give people the headlines, Ralph, and then they can come out to computeramerica.com, find the show notes, and they can get more information if they so choose. So, honorable mentions.
Yeah, here we go. The first one comes from techexplorer.com. Headline, using perovskite to make LED pixels as small as a virus. What?
Perovskite can do everything, it seems.
It's an amazing material. You're right. You're exactly right. We see that in the solar panel world, but this is using it to make pixels as small as a virus. Wow. Okay, you got to check it out. It's so cool. The next one comes from Motor Trend magazine. Your next international flight could be powered by pig fat biodiesel.
And the picture is, of course, just dancing bacon. So, yeah, it's good.
Yes, that's a fun one. The next one comes from OSU website. Researchers, again, it's another Oregon story. Researchers at Oregon State University find new species of electricity conducting organism, in this case a bacteria, named after a indigenous tribe in the Oregon area. So that's what a new species of electricity conducting organism, a bacteria. That's pretty fascinating. And the possible uses, it's very strange, but the uses for this are very, very interesting. Check that article out. That's a good one. Last one here is from extremetech.com. Headline, tiny 3D printed robot uses magnets to fly. It's a cute little thing. You got to check this out. And it's another good example, Ben, of the wide range of things that we call robots.
Absolutely. And it looks almost like a children's toy, but
Yeah.
this little robot, I'm sure, can have a lot of different applications that they talk about in the article, which you can find in the link in the show notes at computeramerica.com. Ralph, I want to thank you so much for putting all this together as always. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening, for tuning in, and for checking out Computer America. If you want to find out more, computeramerica.com, as we've been saying this whole time. And hey, it's Friday, it's the weekend. I want you to do something fun and join us here every Friday where we talk with our science and tech trends correspondent about cool stories that you should know about. So until next time, have a good weekend, have a good week. We'll catch you. And ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay safe. Have a good one. Bye-bye.